We're live at Groundwater Week, and I am really excited for my guest today, Ronnie with Center Rock Hammers. And they are one heck of a company when it comes to drilling solutions, making sure you have the right tool for the right application, and the coolest slogan, we make rock disappear. Ronnie, go ahead and introduce yourself and talk about Center Rock.
Yes, thank you. As I said, I'm Ronnie Edwards. I'm their mining, quarry, and water well manager. Been with them now for about a year. Known Center Rock for a long time. Been in this industry for about 39 years. Known Center Rock's reputation. As you said, we have what you need. We can make what you need. We're very versatile in the fact that if there's something special that you need, we can build it. We can manufacture it. We can design it. As I said the other day, we're small enough to be the small company to know what you need, but we're large enough to supply it for you. So we take care of it.
One of my favorite things about Center Rock is your technical service.
Yes.
The way you focus on drilling solutions. And what's cool is you have 39 years of experience in this industry. And our industry is built on tribal knowledge and, successes, but more often failure. And one thing I've always enjoyed is like, you guys get it. Like when the phone call comes in, coming from what do you have for capability of compressor to what do you have a tubular or, lattice style derrick, you start planning a package that's going to work.
Yes. Yeah, we have the know-how and the expertise. When you look at Center Rock as a whole, when you look at our people that are there, the majority of the people in the higher echelon, if you would say it that way, have been in the industry for 30 years or plus. And we're not just somebody that's sat behind a desk. We've actually been out in the field. We know what it is when you're talking about we're hitting voids and we can't get return. We understand what that means. So we can take that and turn it into, okay, well, this is what we need to design for you. This is what you're looking at, and this is what we've seen. And that goes a long way in helping someone. 'Cause if I can understand what it is that you're talking about and know your language, then I can learn how to fix it.
What's wild is the product line. You make some big hammers.
Oh, yes.
I mean, big.
Yeah, we, in a single hammer, we go from 3.5 inch OD to 30 inch. And then in our LP style, we go from 18 inch to 12-foot diameter.
Okay, so let's talk 30 inch for a minute. With your experience across the country, I'm gonna go back. So let's talk about a 30 inch hammer here. And, we look at this, we get a diverter going on a 6 inch or an 8 inch or a 12 inch, but you're moving so many cubic feet of material at 3,600 feet per minute uphill velocity or greater, like.
Depending on the area that you have, yes. And you try to, when you get into that large, excuse me, the diverter doesn't come into as much as you would think, because when you get into that, you're pumping more foams and more lifters that are actually belling the hole coming up instead of going out through your diverter.
That's my question. Like, how are you moving that away from the hole at the rate of drilling you're doing?
A lot of times you'll see guys with the skid steers, the mini skid steers. You'll see them come in with the mini excavators, raking it away, doing that nature of it. And it comes into play even with our LPs, because when you start looking at 30 inch or 48 inch or 68 inch, you come up and you dump that, it has to go somewhere. We have two different systems of that. We have one that's a bell system. So as the cuttings come up, they only have to raise enough to come up and set into a bell on the top. That comes up and we dump it. Or we have a reverse circulation that comes up to the diverter. Now that one is a total different horse from another color, because you are putting that to the diverter and you are dumping that out. So you do have a lot coming out the end of that pipe. So.
It's I don't think we look at really in this industry, we don't think about, as you say it, we make rock disappear. But reality is, it's got to be hauled away, right?
Yeah, it's going somewhere. it's coming up, and you have to deal with it. You have to move it. It has to be taken away from the hole. When you get into that low, I mean, you even look at a blast hole, 5 3/4 inch blast hole, 80 feet deep. You'll have a cutting pile that's probably 4 foot, 5 foot in diameter, 18 inches deep around that hole. So you take a 30 inch or a 48 inch, you got an enormous pile of rock, and it does have to go somewhere. And most of the time when you're drilling that size, you're doing that for some kind of stabilization. You're doing it for pilings and things of that nature. So it all has to get away. It's not something that may be used back in for cutting pile or doing things. So it does have to go away.
That's a great thing I want to talk about is we're doing a lot more urban drilling.
Yes.
Like we are now with the geothermal revolution and other opportunities for investigation for
Yes.
PFAS, or there's so many pieces where we're now putting hammer rigs
Yes. In someone's
in
backyard.
densely populated,
Yes.
where we have dust control as a piece, noise
Yes.
as a piece, but efficiency. Because
Yes.
I think the biggest thing we have to consider to our neighbors is how efficient can we be to get the hell out of there?
Yes, and you have a lot of different things. You have where you can divert it into the bags, the water bags. Some of them are diverting them into a water truck. They basically dump it into a truck that's going to be dumped out. So you can do that system with them. The noise on them, I mean, a lot of the machines now they have the DPs have come down on them, so the noise levels are not as loud as they are. And dust suppression, they're always the pumping water. Water's the best dust suppression there is. You have dust filters, you have recirculation bags, things of that nature, but water's the best dust suppression.
And the big significance here is if we have the right hammer for the right application,
Yes.
we're the most efficient and we're in and out.
Yes, the quicker you're in and out of the hole, less time on the job. I was talking with a gentleman here yesterday, and we were talking about penetration rates and talking about this, and he said, well, I'm only getting 25 more feet an hour. And I said, well, you're only getting 25 feet an hour. Okay, we'll look at it that way. You're getting paid $40 a foot. So $25 more than feet an hour is $1,000 an hour more you're making. So, and you're also 25 feet an hour faster, 400 foot hole, you're probably an hour shorter.
Well,
So you're quicker, as you said, you're in and out, you're away, you're done.
not to mention, 30 plus gallons an hour in
Oh,
diesel
yes.
on a rig, plus whatever
All
net
the cuttings.
compressors.
Yes.
Like there's plenty of cost that comes back to good hammer efficiency.
Yes, it is. And that's the whole game of it. You have hammers in the market now that are, we're not the cheapest to market. We're never going to be the cheapest to market. We're not geared that way. We've got a prime product. We believe in it. We've got the technology for it. We've got the support for it, and to be able to modify and change with what you need for your elevation, for your no elevation, for your pumping the water or your heating water, for your geothermals. It's so amazing to me over the years. You can go to someone drilling a water well, and they can drill a hole right here, and they're hoping to hit water. I said, why don't you just tell them it's a geothermal well, you'll hit water. I don't believe I've ever been on a geothermal hole that you didn't hit water. I said, just right on the top of it, this is not a water well, it's a geothermal well. And I said, you'll hit water, So and you've got to do something with it. And, so you learn how to adjust your hammer for the water you're going to be hitting, so you can be more efficient when you do hit the water. And it's all about how quick you can get in and out of the hole. The faster you can get done, the more money you're going to make.
And that's, so that's significant is we don't realize we're really good west of the Mississippi running hammers because it's 800 feet to water.
Yes.
We got a lot of work to do east of the Mississippi, specifically in the Northeast, where we're producing water by 20 feet.
Yes.
And so suddenly we get into this debate about mud versus air versus hammers and efficiencies. And it really does come back down to placing the right product and then being able to explain to them how we can overcome that hydraulic head
Yes.
and we can be efficient.
Yes, and we have things for that. You have things in the hammer that you can do. You can open up your choke. Our hammer actually has an air distributor that can be dialed in for the air that you're in, and it can be dialed in for the water that's going to be hitting. But then we also have subs, the diverter subs, what we call air diverter subs, that you can actually put on top of the hammer that bypass the air to help you lift that static head load to where you can drill faster. So it compensates for that. So there's things that we've learned over the years from working with drillers. I mean, that's where we've learned how we need to make changes, and what we need to improve on is by being on site and not just sitting in a boardroom saying, oh, we need to make changes.
Yeah, what I love about being on site is that we are discovering the unknown together.
Yes.
And drilling is art, drilling is science and fundamentals and physics. And I know we have two camps. One camp that I'm just a really good driller and I figured it out. And then there's the camp of there's the science and physics, and then there's the one that meets in the middle.
Yes.
Of where we can understand cutting size, being that detective, asking those questions, using the community, redeveloping tools.
Yes.
And just like you said, I think that's a really significant part of Senator Rock's success. And you mentioned we're not going to be the cheapest, but at the end of the day, when I'm 3,600 feet in the hole, I need what's right, because it's going to cost me a hell of a lot more money when I shank that and I have to go fishing.
Yes.
Or I'm stuck in the hole.
Yeah. May not be the cheapest on the upfront cost, but on the end of it, total cost, we can save you money. Total cost, we know where you need to be, and we can adapt for that. And that's the main thing. I mean, total drilling cost is what you look at, and being able to change the parameter of that, and that's what we look at. It's not just I told one of the guys the other day, one of my men, I said, look, we're not Amazon. We're not just going to go in and ship you something because they ordered it out of a catalog. I said, we want to know what your drill is. We want to know where you're drilling. We want to know how deep you're drilling. If it's blast hole, if it's water well, whatever it is. If it's water well, where are you at? And are you going to be drilling deeper than your static head? Are you going to hit 10 gallons of water and that's going to be enough for this well? Or do you need 100 gallons of water for this well? So we have to be able to adjust that. We have to be able to plan ahead for that, so you don't have to come back out of the hole and readjust. So, that's part of working with the customers and knowing what's there and how to fix it. So
you may make rock disappear, but you sure do make money appear for your customers when you do it right.
That's what we're hoping. And in doing that, we're always changing technology. We always have new technology coming out. We have a great line of hammers now, and we've got a new line that's coming out. We're actually coming out with a new tubeless in there. It's going to be running the QL shank, industry standard shank. We're going to be doing that primarily in the 5 and 6 inch to begin with, but then we're going to go into the 4 and the 8s. But we've got that coming out. The industry is requiring it. I can remember years ago when tubeless hammers first came out, nobody wanted them because they were slow drilling. They didn't like the way they ran. It was just problems. But over the years, we've learned how to fix that. We've learned how to make them run. We've learned how to be more as efficient as a tubed hammer is.
Reliability standpoint,
yes.
Eliminate one component that is primed to have an issue.
A major problem component. It is. You get 900 feet in the hole and you break a piece of plastic and got to come out. Somebody's mad.
It's also dangerous because we're trying to trip as fast as we can. There's plenty of things going on when those dominoes fall.
Oh yes, yeah. There's always a problem. Like you said, someone's ill, and when you get ill, you're not looking at what you need to do, and your fingers get in the way, your hands get in the way, your feet get in the way. So we're looking at doing that. We're making some new changes in that, and we're always changing our bits and our bit design. We're able to change the different face designs, tweak the carbides that's in them, length of carbides, just what the customer needs to be able to drill efficiently and drill at a cheaper cost, to cut their total cost. Like you said, fuel's not going any cheaper. That compressor's still going to be running. So if we can drill this hole with 6 hours of drilling instead of 8 hours of drilling, you save 2 hours at 30 gallons an hour. So that's cost savings there too, you know. And
Yeah, our most expensive cost on a drill site is time and fuel.
oh yes,
Everything else we can increase efficiency
yes,
to help save that money.
yes. And you know, and then we do the new products, we sell the products, but we also service them. You know, we do the hammer rebuilds, and we do hammer rebuilds on not just ours, but everyone's in the industries. We do the bit rebuilding. We have the diamonds, so we can do the diamond inserts for your carbides and things of that nature. We do bit sharpening, repair work on that too. So we're a one-stop full service shop.
That is awesome.
You know, if you need it, we can take care of it. And if you come to us and it's something we've not been doing, we can probably do it. You know,
I love it.
You know, that's our game. We want customers and we want business. I mean, we want to stay in business. You got to make money to stay in business. But at the end of the day, we're customer oriented. We know what it is to be out there in it. So we want to make sure that we can help that person that's doing it. Because the people out here that's bought these drill rigs and the families that are running them, that's their family business. That's their livelihood. So anything we can do to help them, I mean, that's the way Center Rock's always been.
That's awesome. Thank you for your time today.
Oh,
This was so much fun, Ronnie.
I enjoyed it. Thank you. from years ago with Chilean mine rescue, when that happened, Brandon Fisher stepped up and said, yes, we can, we know we can. In 3 days, we had the bits built and designed and ready to go, and that's the way we look at things. It's like, we want to help. So what do we got to do to help? And
so that is so cool. And it's from the Chilean miners situation, like our industry stepped up from, Lane having, geotech and boils down there. There was a Jeffco rig that was on a hot rock geothermal hole that was supposed to come over. I was working in Latin America at the time. It was wild. Those men got trapped, and I was like, I'm praying for their families. They're not going to make it. And at the same time, we had Deepwater Horizon happen in the Gulf. And that oil's going. And I said, that oil will be shut in. We'll start cleanup in a week. And those poor men in that mine are dead. And instead, Center Rock and Lane and Schramm stepped up and drilled that and saved those men. And then we had oil gushing in the Gulf for another 3 months. You could not have planned that. One question, now that you've brought up the Chilean miners, I once heard a story that you guys were almost at TD and you bit tripped because there was worry that the hammer that was there needed to be, the bit face needed to be replaced. That right there is strategic excellence in drilling, because we're always about, we'll just go a little bit more, but if we'd shanked or failed, again, those men don't come out of the hole.
That's the thing. You take the chance of breaking that head off, shanking that head off, and then you don't go back.
No, we would. It had been a horrible. We've seen it, mine rescues that we just don't get there in time.
Well, and that comes with the experience, as I said. I mean, when you've got people like Brandon Fisher, the founder of the company, that had the expertise and the knowledge to know this is what needs to happen, instead of just saying, crowd it, put it in the hole, just drill the hole. Well, it's even with a water well, it's, guys, you need to pull out. You need to shank, you need to resharpen your bit, because if you don't, you're going to shank the bit, you're going to lose your well. So it's learning that and knowing that and being able to educate people with that on how to do it. And it's cost savings and life savings. It's irreplaceable.